smaller hairline cracks extended from this main crack, causing water damage.
What this is a tape of the housing inspector visiting our apartment in Brooklyn. Now, he wasn't from the city. What had happened was that the large cross street, Columbia Street, had had sewers put in about 10 years earlier. And in the process of digging the sewers, they had caused major structural damage to every building up and down Columbia Street for about a 16-block length. So they were going to do another project, and they were sending this guy around to record all the damage in all the apartments existing before they started the project. Why? So they couldn't sue them afterwards because they claimed that the damage that was pre-existing was caused by the project.
The new project.
Yeah. Now, what went on in this building was pretty strange. Upstairs, there was the landlady Betty's cousin Tony for a while.
What?
The landlady Betty's cousin Tony, okay?
Betty's cousin
Tony, and he had a wife and a kid, and he was a no-good. And the thing I always remember about them is his wife trying to cook on the gas stove after the gas had been turned off because there was still just a little bit of gas coming through, just barely enough to heat water through the burner. Yeah, because he didn't pay it. Okay, and she was trying to heat the baby's milk on this. It was pretty sad. And then they moved out, and after them was a guy who claimed to be Judy Collins' son. And I don't know if he was, but he had this really beautiful pair of blue eyes. And he was definitely a junkie. So, okay.
The guy comes to the house, right?
Well, the story I really want to tell is about Tony and Penny downstairs. Now, Tony was supposedly an ex-prize fighter. And he was maybe a little punched up or something. Kind of not too with it. And he was supposedly the custodian, but he couldn't do anything. He had a bad leg. I guess he had phlebitis. No, he wasn't a relative of Betty's. He was just there.
There is one plaster patching, many ear-length crack strings throughout, chipping the plaster. North wall is plaster covered with wallpaper.
So what happened was, one day Betty the landlady called them up, and Penny said, well, I'll put Tony on the phone to you, and he couldn't talk. He was just kind of like, you know, and Tony couldn't talk. And Penny said, oh, he's been like this before, he'll be okay. And she said, how long has he been like this? And Penny said, 3 days. He fell out of bed one morning, and he's been like that ever since. And Betty said, he's had a stroke, we have to get him to the hospital. Okay, so she took him to the hospital, and he had a stroke, he couldn't talk. And she came back, and I had heard about what happened, and I said, you know, Penny, is there anything I can do? And she said no, and she went into her apartment. And they had a couple of dogs in the apartment, and I didn't see her after that. And somebody said she was staying with a friend, and Tony's brother said somebody was coming out to feed the dogs. And I didn't know for sure, but about 8 days later, after talking about this with a lot of people, okay, I was walking by the hall, and I heard this dog give this howl that was this total howl desperation. And I called Betty up, and I said, Betty, I've had it, I'm calling the police. And I called the police, and Andrew and I were there when they opened the place up, and they said something about, we'll have to send the wagon home for the body. And I said, body? Yeah. She had gone, after she took him to the hospital, Penny, Tony's wife, After she took him to the hospital,
There's much
she had just
feeling of
gone
pain
back
as well.
to
Many
her
hairline
apartment
cracks,
and laid down in
very
the bed
sad
and
as
died.
mothers.